What's up, everybody? It's Josh from Heroic Performance here. I wanted to bring to you today my number one secret to hip happiness, so to speak. There are so many bits and pieces out there, stretches, movement, different strength training drills, and we'll go through it in time on this channel. But today would be my number one stretch that I give somebody, whether they're an athlete, whether they're an older population or a young gun. Doesn't matter who you are, everyone needs to do this. In the generation that we live in the world that we live in with sitting and cell phones, we talk about the hip flexor. The hip flexor is this big, beefy muscle that sits right in the front. Its job is to pick up our leg. That's all it does. There's other things in there that rotate the foot and rotate the leg. For now, in your world, all you need to know about is the hip flexor. With that being said, it gets tight. A lot of the times in this upwards position, sitting, you're at your desk, things like that, it locks down. So what we want to do is find a way to open it up. What happens when this thing gets tight? Imagine the clothing is my skin. It starts to pull us tight. But interestingly enough, the hip works inversely. So we start to go into what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. With that anterior pelvic tilt, it starts to crunch our lower back, right? As it crunches our lower back pain. So my job here in giving you some hip happiness is to really make sure that back stays happy. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to plant our back toe. It's in an upwards position, right? Sitting up nice and tall. If you need help or balance or assistance, put a chair next to you. What I want you to do next is flex that butt cheek. We're going to make it nice and tight. You're going to probably feel a stretch to begin with. From there, all we're doing is rocking forward. That's it. I want to see sets of 10 here. If you want a little bit more stretch, you can reach up high to the ceiling. Now, from the side, it would look like this, right? So my hip is nice and tight, my toe is dug in, and I'm shifting forward. I am not giving you this. Does that make sense? I don't want to see that hyper lunged position. We're going to do 10, right? 1, 2, 3, reaching up nice and tall as we go. Butt cheek is flexed. 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, the last one on 10. I'm going to move my body, my leg to a 45-degree angle. My foot stays straight ahead. I'm up tall, butt cheek flexed, back toe in the ground. Now I'm going to stay facing forward, but shift my body on that 45-degree angle. 1, 10 reps. 2, if you'd like to reach up tall, 3, 4. We're going to really look to feel this stretch on the inner groin. Some of you might be tight on that lead leg. That's completely fine. Everyone feels this differently. But trust me, this hip complex in the front, that hip flexor, is going to get a good little work. 9, 10. The last one, we're going to go straight to 90 degrees. Everyone's hip, bone on bone, has different ranges that are acceptable. Some of you might be able to open your hip wider. Some of you might be tighter. The only rule of thumb, if I open my hip all the way, you see how I hit an end range? We don't go past that end range. So that's going to be me right there, right? It's a little bit less than 90 degrees, and that's great. My body works that way. Yours might be a little bit different. From there, with that leg nice and wide, reaching up tall, butt cheek dug in tight, I want to see a shift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathe. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, I cannot stress this enough. You must breathe. You must take your time. It should be a little bit of a pulse. I don't need a big, dramatic, static stretch. This should be through movement. When you finish one side, you do the other. One set of 10 of each should be plenty to start with. As you become more advanced, as time goes on, you're doing mobility days or recovery, maybe you get 2 or 3 sets in. But for now, one set of 10 of each position. Forward, 45 degree, 90 degree. Thinking hip flexor. Butt cheek is nice and tight. I hope this helps you, and I hope you have happy hips. From Heroic Performance, have a great day.